I'm Harish Goteti and welcome back to my channel. So we are going to continue our AWS Connect journey here. As today video is about the last two videos were about how to set up your AWS Connect, Amazon Connect, and then the second one is how part two is how to do the initial configuration. Today I'm going to talk about how do you configure your Amazon Connect instance, which is pretty important because most of the time you just go into Connect and configure your dashboard and all the settings, but there is a lot of configuration and that control that you can modifications that you can do to the instance itself, and today that is what we are going to cover. So I am logged in. As you can see, I'm logged into my Amazon AWS console, and here's my Amazon Connect. Generally what we do is we go to the instance and then log in and do the configuration of the instance of the Amazon Connect Connect. So now what we are going to do is we are going to configure the instance itself. So what you do is you click on the instance name and then you get all the configuration options on the left hand side. So we are going to review go through each one of them, and then I'm going to explain what those are, so you can actually know more about them, right? So the first one is account overview. Obviously this is our account URL, and then we have the distribution settings over here, service link role. So you don't need to understand. This is really when you're connecting through APIs and stuff that you probably need to understand this. Right now we don't need. And then the directory, right now it is configured to store the users within the instance. We'll change that later and I'll show you how to do that. Then next one is telephony. So this is where you enable the inbound and outbound, right? So either if you did it during the initial setup, then that's fine. If not, you can do it here. So receive inbound calls with Amazon Connect. Do we want to receive, right? Then it is checked. Make outbound calls with Amazon Connect. You have to if you want to do that. And then enable early media is here it says agents can hear pre-connection audio such as busy signals, failures. So like if something happens, do agents hear that? So yeah, we want to know why agent is not able to connect. So yes. Enable outbound campaigns. Right now I disabled it, but we will talk about campaigns in a different video. For this video let's just leave it like that. Enhanced calling and monitoring capabilities. Enable multi-party calls and enhance monitoring. So generally what happens is when you speak to a customer, they may say, hey, we want to conference someone else, or you probably want to conference someone else. So if you do if you enable multi-party calling, then you can have multiple people ongoing joining the calls. If you disable that, people can't monitor, people can't join those calls. So those are the telephony options that you can set for your Amazon Connect instance. The next one is a data storage. So when you did the initial setup, you saw all the AWS default settings. I left the default, but pretty much again, if you want to see where they are, these are the places. This is the S3 bucket. That's where the call recordings are going. If you want, you can actually go ahead and search for again S3, and then if you look at it, you will see those the S3 buckets. See, here it is, and here in the connect folder, my instance name, yeah, the chat transcripts, right? I don't have any voice calls yet, but they will come in as well. So that's where they are getting stored. Call recordings and chat transcript. Live media streaming not enabled. We'll talk about live media in a different video. Basically what it is if you enable it, it is like a Facebook like Messenger kind of streaming that others can also see. You can have that enabled. We'll do a separate session on how this works. Exported reports. Where do you want to store the reports? So again, it will be in S3, and if you go back, if buckets, connect, dot mesh demo. One second. I don't have any reports yet. That's the reason we didn't create that folder, because there is no call volume. So exported reports are going to stay there. Attachments, I did not enable attachments. We'll talk about attachments later, but yeah, I can actually enable it. Enable attachment sharing, and then I can select the same S3 bucket attachments and enable encryption. uh, AWS key is already there. Everything is, I want to select the existing key, which is the AWS Connect key. I'll save it. So if I get attachments in the chat transcripts or something, they get saved as well. Attachments are enabled. Screen recordings, do we want to record the screen? That we'll do it later. Contact evaluations, do you want to evaluate the contacts? If you want to enable this, enable export contact evaluation to S3, I'll enable this. I'll again select the same bucket, and then enable encryption, and then save. I enable the contact evaluations as well. So this is like the entire data storage settings that you want to store. Next one is data streaming. So this will be interesting. So we'll do this later, because getting the calls, sample call data is a little difficult. So I'm going to get it done. So once we have enough call data, then what we are going to do is we're going to put all those records into your Kinesis streams, and then for further analysis, that is for really during for large call centers where they want to analyze all the move everything over to through streams into a data site, maybe with QuickSight or Redshift. They want to analyze all of those things, all the data. That's when this is useful, data streaming. We didn't do that. Next one is flow settings, the flow configuration. So flow security keys, so this flow security key is really important. We are going to talk about redaction of data, less sensitive information in the flows. We are going to do that. That this one is for that, and we'll do that in a separate session where we are going to redact or basically mask or hide sensitive information, like maybe a social security number, or maybe the last names, stuff like that. So we are going to do that, and that's when I'll explain these things. Amazon Lex is really the chatbot, as you know. If you want to enable chatbot interactive messages with Amazon Connect, then you are going to use Amazon Lex bot, and we'll do that as a separate session. AWS Lambda. So Lambda integration is very, so obviously Amazon integrates with everything using Lambda, as you know. It's a serverless service, right? So with Lambda, you can do a bunch of things. One, you can do customized experiences in AWS, in Amazon Connect. For example, if you have customers with multiple memberships, let's say it's a silver member or gold member or whatever, or you have some promotions that are happening for that specific customer, what you can store that information in DynamoDB or in database or RDS, and then use Lambda to fetch that information and show it to the agent so that they can give those offers. So that kind of stuff can happen with AWS Lambda. So we'll do AWS Lambda integration demos. There are also sample flows with Lambda integration that will show you in the coming videos. So if you have a Lambda function, then you just go ahead and attach it here, and you select these functions in the contact flow. So that is Lambda. Flow logs, obviously it is important to store the logs so that you can troubleshoot if there is any problems with your flows. So they are again getting stored here in the cloud, in the Amazon CloudWatch log group. Okay. Then Poly right now I did not enable, so it's already enabled by default. What we want to do is, if you want to go ahead and turn text into speech, then you want to do that. The reason they use Poly is because when you start to interact with customers, you can have this poly enabled, and you can go ahead and, let's say the agent is not really able to communicate, then they can use poly, and then they can just type it in and it will convert, and then communicate with the best sounding voice. In the best sounding voice, it's going to communicate back to the customer. It's pretty powerful, but it's pretty powerful, but we'll see how that works. I never used poly in Amazon Connect, so we'll see. I did like send, I did transcribe and comprehend and all that stuff, but not poly. So let us see how that works in another demo. So analytics tools, again, contact lens is really to analyze analyze each of the contacts that happen, do agent evaluation and those kind of things. And we'll talk about contact lens in detail. For that, we first need to have some data. So I'll get the data in, and then we will talk about contact lens, because it's a machine learning capabilities built into Amazon Connect. So approved origins are nothing but, if you have a CRM that you want to integrate, if you have a workforce management product that you want to integrate, Salesforce or Zendesk or anything, you have to add those URLs here so that it approves those domains. That's what this is about. Then customer profiles. Customer profiles is really an important thing. So by default, my customer profiles are going to get stored within Amazon Connect. What customer profiles are nothing but, let's say you have a CRM and you want to have the data from the CRM to populate in Amazon Connect, and that's when you use customer profiles. You add those domains, so all of that stuff will happen. So I'll go ahead and show it to you, try to show you using Salesforce in the coming videos. Tasks are something, uh, tasks are like, right now the task functionality is built into Amazon Connect. But let's just say you have another application, like CRM or workforce management product, where where your team members manage tasks, then you can integrate with it. But typically the tasks are already available in Amazon Connect. On the call, the agent can create a task for that specific query, and they can work on the task. So that is it. Cases, again, cases is really, this piece is really cases integration with Amazon Connect. But what cases is also built into Amazon Connect, you can you can go ahead and create those. But this functionality is really to integrate with Zendesk, so that they flow. So that is the integration. But generally, I prefer to use the case management within within the Amazon Connect, because you don't have to switch too many screens. The agent doesn't have to do that. They can just go ahead and use it over here. So we'll do a cases demo later. Wisdom is knowledge base, as you know. We are going to populate some knowledge articles, and then we are going to see how that will show up when a specific query comes from for an agent. So we're going to look at those demos as well. So that's Wisdom configuration. Then you have Voice ID. So Voice ID is really, you have a call center, right? So and then someone might call you and say, "Hey, I am the customer." How do you recognize it? Maybe they stole the verification information, or maybe they got got the verification information somehow. And but you want to make sure that person is who they are saying, and this voice enabled Voice ID will help recognize that voice, record that voice, and then it'll do a real-time caller authentication to make sure it is the genuine caller and not a fraudulent caller. So that's voice authentication. Forecasting, capacity planning, and scheduling is new. We can enable that, but right now, I mean, even if I enable that, it's not no use. We need to get some data in so that it can start doing some forecasting, and then we'll do the capacity planning and then the scheduling. So we'll look at it, but it will come later down in the sessions because I need to populate the system with some data. So this is how you configure your entire Amazon Connect instance, not really the Amazon Connect, the application itself. So this is the different settings that you go through. The main things to remember here is really the storage aspect, where you want to store data. The next one is outbound campaigns, which is really important, and then cases and tasks are something that you want to go ahead and enable so that you can work on those customer related stuff. So that's really how Amazon Connect instance is configured. I hope this video is useful. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to share a lot of content on Amazon Connect and also a lot of other AWS services and topics. So thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.